But their story didn't end there.
How could there have been only one? And he's back in business.
Is the worst idea in history of bad ideas.
Part 2 is the final chapter in the violent history.
This time, it's personal.
The big green guy is back.
They call me Swamp Thing.
You're a plant, aren't you?
He's come back to settle the score.
Find him and bring him in.
He's got a grudge, cause they turned him to sludge.
I believe this is yours.
What?
The return of Swamp Thing. Starring Louis Jourdan.
What did you do? Sell your soul to the devil?
Let's just say he has a lease with an option to buy.
Heather Locklear.
She can get in my things anytime she wants to.
Why can't men be more like plants? I mean, you can stroke a plant and it doesn't get the wrong idea.
And Swamp Thing.
But I can't give you the kind of love you want.
Why not?
I'm a plant.
That's okay. I'm a vegetarian.
The return of Swamp Thing. He's turning over a new leaf for love.
If you like talking plants, DNA splicing, somebody messing up your mom's new station wagon, magazines just for mercenaries, girls from California, my favorite operation, a vasectomy, guys peeling out, sensual hand-holding, Young and Easy magazine, my dad's camera, comparing scars and swamps and things, then you'll like the movie. This week on Revenge of the Sequel, the podcast just about sequels, Return of the Swamp Thing.
The Return of Swamp Thing.
I was going to say Swamp Thing 2.
Yeah. I think
That's me doing a really long spit take
after
your insane intro.
Well written.
That was the worst raspberry blows I've ever heard.
I know.
Oh, you're covered in spit now.
That's why it's the worst.
Yeah.
This is Revenge of the Sequel, the podcast just about sequels. My name is Emmanuel.
Hey there, I'm John.
And we have a special guest. Have you been on this pod before?
Actually, I don't know. Not on this pod.
Yes.
I was on one episode. I don't think that ever aired.
Yeah, the Lost episode. I told you that very infamous Lost episode.
Which one was it? Matrix Reloaded?
Reloaded. Yeah, there you go.
The Matrix Reloaded episode. The one where we had people mic'd with 6 different mics, and we could not sync microphones together afterwards.
It was an 800 guest episode or something. Right?
It was literally 7 people were on that podcast.
Yeah, there was. It was like a panel episode.
In hindsight, it's good it didn't get released because I bet it was just people screaming over each other for.
I think it was
3 hours.
Really, 'cause we had
most likely.
Because we had 3 of us and then 3 of the old Fish Tank podcast that you had.
It was a crossover from the old Fish Tank podcast, which I think you can still find some
They're
episodes
on iTunes.
On iTunes still,
yeah.
but
you're gonna have to plug that at the very end.
You just search the Fish Tank podcast.
It's like the Avengers of podcasting when everyone and all of their powers come together at the very end.
Yeah.
But I've definitely been on
Countdown
to Infinity.
Oh, yeah.
And,
the only podcast that really matters around here.
What are you guys doing?
We call this one.
Why are y'all doing this one still?
We call this one the B podcast.
Yeah. Much like this movie, a B movie.
Hey, good transition, John.
I was gonna say quick plug.
Also,
I was recently on Director Showdown Sticker Fridge podcast. Look that up.
Yeah, you were on the Gone Girl one.
I was on the Gone Girl one 2 or 3 weeks ago.
You said your name, right, David?
Yes.
I think so.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Who cares?
I said it, he said it, and now you've
Did
said
you say
it.
it?
Yeah.
Okay, my bad.
So we've all 3 said his name.
Rodriguez is my last
name.
name.
Cool now.
So you know what that means? Beetlejuice is now going to appear
after a while.
Because we said David 3 times.
I disappear from this side of the room and appear in another side of the room.
Was Beetlejuice a superhero? I forgot.
No, he was not.
Most likely.
Yeah, right?
He
I
most
feel like
likely
he was probably in the anti-hero archetype, kind of like a Swamp Thing type of thing.
Swamp Thing was not an anti-hero in this movie. He was he was just a superhero.
Yeah.
He was fucking Captain America in this movie. It was insane how
he was very intelligent.
He played
too. Did you
this
hear, like
movie.
how great
how
his
they
voice
played
is?
him in this movie. It was hilarious.
He's a Jesus type figure, really.
He's so calm. Like his voice is just soothing too. Hello. My name is Swamp Thing.
John, tell us about Swamp Thing. Start from the very beginning. What is he?
Yes.
So Swamp Thing is
quickly read out of your J.R.R. Tolkien based notebook that you have.
It's a TARDIS notebook.
Oh, okay. No, it's cool. It's a Doctor Who notebook. Yeah. That's really cool.
Much
too.
cooler. Much cooler. Much cooler.
I sense the sarcasm here, so I'm just going to.
I just have a really cool Harriet the Spy spiral. Ooh, look at me.
All right. Fuck off. No, I'm just saying.
We wrote our notes on our phones, John.
So Swamp Thing, he created in 1971. Kind of an old character by Len Wein and Bernie Wrightson.
And when were those two people born? I'm just kidding, John. Not important.
Bernie Wrightson. Well, Bernie Wrightson. I think Len Wein is probably dead too. I probably should have done some.
John, you don't have to actually tell us.
Oh no!
Why would they be dead? They're not that old.
The 70s. Everyone from the 70s is dead.
How old were they when they created it? I guess
probably like in their 30s, maybe.
Question, right?
Yeah, probably in their 30s. Bernie Wrightson barely died a couple of years ago. He's the one who drew the original Swamp Thing comics. If you they're all shady. Like there's a lot of shading in it. If you watch the opening titles of this movie, they have a lot of the artwork there, which is pretty funny.
I totally wrote down about the intro. Like I just it looks like Mallrats.
Yeah.
Because
I mean, it does kind of remind you of Mallrats.
Like what you were saying. It was the scan and pans they do of the covers and stuff.
And that's all it really is.
It looks so good. I was wondering honestly if Mallrats stole that from this movie because Mallrats came out in like '96.
And this was like
89, yeah.
It sort of feels like it's like a TV movie or almost like a serial TV show because that's what the titles felt like. I was
absolutely.
Like, what's he doing this week?
Like a what's it called? $1 Million Man.
Yeah.
Like a whoop. Yeah. Swamp Thing just has his fucking moments where he and then you see the weird what's it called? Green electricity come out of his skin, and then that's the end of the episode.
That's the danger of this movie is those comic book panels promised a movie that was going to be insanely epic and crazy,
definitely.
And we didn't see any of that stuff.
Let me bring it back around to that Swamp Thing character. Swamp Thing is actually it's a character that I really, really, really like, actually.
I mean,
he's a really cool, besides this movie, the character is actually really cool.
I have written so many in my notes, why didn't they reboot Swamp Thing as, what's it called, the Batman versus Swamp Thing, like Alan Moore wrote.
Yeah, exactly.
And all that kind of shit.
Alan Moore wrote Swamp Thing.
I kept pausing it and looking at my wife and being like, did you know that, Swamp Thing, he could, regenerate from, any cell that he was, exploded from? And, he didn't really have... Blah, 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 blah. And I was just, being such a fucking asshole cuck. Not allowing her to watch the movie. And eventually she just shut me down. And we finished watching the movie. But, yeah.
Nice.
But I was just the actual lithos of Swamp Thing.
It's a really dark and tragic.
So insane.
Yeah, it's a really dark and tragic character. It's about Alec Holland, who basically invents a really cool plant formula that's about to it can make any plant life grow anywhere. It's basically gonna take over deserts, and they can make a whole lot more with this serum. Long story short, some crime bosses basically get a hold of Alec Holland and then kind of kill him, and he burns along with the formula. The formula kind of mutates him and turns him into the protector of the green.
We see this in the movie.
It's a very DC creation myth where it's chemicals and shit like that.
Yeah.
It's a very that.
But it meets it's kind of inspired off of old Universal monster heroes. It's kind of like Dr. Jekyll, or he's kind of like the Hulk.
They're directly lifting off from the creature from the Black Lagoon.
Black
which
Lagoon,
is a Universal monster character.
Yeah, it's he's an iconic. You remember seeing him in black and white walking into the swamp with a lady in his arms. And
I forget what it is called, but I remember there is this kid's book when we were kids. I think I'm a little bit older than both of y'all. We were kids.
I'm 67.
Okay. Well, yeah, you're much older than me then. But when we were kids, there was something called The Teacher from the Black Lagoon.
Oh.
And it was this little picture book that you would read, and it was just kind of this idea of, your teacher could be a piece of shit, but you have the teacher you actually have, which is not a piece of shit, so stop treating your teacher like a piece of shit.
Because he could be.
Because it could be this piece of shit teacher.
A creature.
But, that was one of the first times I was ever introduced to this idea of like something from the Black Lagoon.
Right, yeah.
And then so growing up like thinking like something from the swamp, something from the Black Lagoon, evil.
Yeah,
bad.
evil, bad, yeah.
And then like being introduced to the Swamp Thing, who he's like Captain America.
Yeah,
he's
totally.
like he's not a bad guy
No,
at
he's not
all. He's literally the best guy.
Uh-huh.
And
I
it
guess
is so hilarious.
Totally in this movie, which is really funny. I think we so David and I went to college together, at Northwest Vista.
Hell yeah.
I don't know why I said the name of the actual fucking college.
Well, now people can look it up and realize that it's not a real college and just a
Guess who?
community college.
Um,
But okay.
Guess whose enrollment just went up from that drop from that plug, John?
Your enrollment of $700 a semester.
We were in a sound design class together, and I actually remade a Swamp Thing PSA. Like, it's the PSA that came out. It's the Greenpeace PSA that came out around this time of this movie.
I totally forgot that you actually remade that.
Yeah,
until this moment.
It was really funny. Like, I just
that Greenpeace PSA. That was the first thing I watched. So John, you lent me the movie recently to watch again. And you told me like, you remember those PSAs? And I totally lied to you. And I was like, yeah, fuck yeah.
Yeah, not real.
And I was like, I didn't remember it at all.
Were you remembering it while watching the movie?
And then I watched the PSAs because they're on
the DVD.
They're on the DVD. So I watched the PSAs,
Lettering is
and it
always
was just
on
like
top,
the second that the script came up that was like Greenpeace, I was like, oh my god, I fucking remember these so hard. And just like how ridiculous they are. They feel so fake.
Yeah, it's super duper campy.
They feel like they're was it like the Adult Swim G.I. Joe ones, like the G.I. Joe PSAs,
definitely.
where they're just like, you guys should make sure to wear condoms, like you little kids. But it's like,
I don't remember that one. I never wore a condom as a kid,
so they didn't have an impact on you.
Dude, as Ari Shafir's, condoms feel like if you have a snow glove on and you're trying to dig change out of your pocket.
Oh, wow.
Fuck condoms.
That's pretty fucking funny.
So how soon from them being comic books was it like, hey, we need to make TV shows?
So a decade
movies?
probably into it. Because like
Wes Craven made one.
Yeah, Wes Craven made the first one.
Oh, yeah.
Because this is the sequel that we're talking about.
It's a sequel to that movie?
Yeah, Swamp Thing, 1982.
Well, I mean, we're on Revenge of the Sequel.
Yeah,
That's
exactly.
true.
So, come on, Emmanuel.
I forgot the Constitution.
I honestly kept telling Hannah that because she was like, "This is a sequel." I was like, "I'm doing this for a sequel podcast."
Why would we not?
This is a sequel.
That's crazy. Did people like the Wes Craven one?
The Wes Craven one was not as campy as this one. It's got some camp to it. Don't get me fucking wrong. But like, it's not as campy as this one. It kind of more or less follows the dark storyline from the book with a little bit of a lighter twist.
Yeah. Is it an origin story? Because then
It is
why
an
did
origin
we
story.
see this
It's
again?
It's about Alec basically burning.
much
and then-
more of an origin.
Yeah,
story.
and he's played by someone else, Ray Weiss, who people will know as Leland Palmer from Twin Peaks.
Oh,
He played Alec Holland in the original movie.
Yeah.
That's hilarious.
And he, he burned, and then he turned into Swamp Thing. And Adrian Barbeau was also in the original Swamp Thing movie as well.
But Leland Palmer never actually portrayed Swamp Thing
no.
in the costume.
The suit, no, it
Just
was
the
like
voice.
Okay.
The guy's name is I wrote it down because
Lou
I liked his name.
Ferrigno.
I know, someone super famous.
His name is Dick
Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Dick Durock.
All right,
Okay.
Dick, you rock.
That's a pretty sweet
Yeah,
name.
I love
Durock.
Dick, you rock.
He
Dick
played.
Durock.
He came back for Return of
Dick
Swamp Thing
Durock.
and played Swamp Thing again. This time with a very non-monsterish because he seems like he's pretty intelligent there.
So wait, so he played the Swamp Thing twice?
Yeah, he played him in the first movie too.
Oh wow.
Yeah, and so
but
he
this
comes
time
back.
he's like full on. I
It looks better this time around. The first movie, I don't know if you've seen clips from the first Swamp Thing movie.
Nope.
I
I didn't look anything up about the first one.
Me neither.
It's a skin tight Swamp Thing suit as opposed to this one
Fuck.
that actually looks like Swamp Thing because this one has like algae like all over him and shit like that. And
Oh
the other
yeah,
one,
it's just like the Hulk.
Yeah.
Like it's like painting a guy green.
Well, that's what the old
versus,
one-
Like
yeah, and then
actually
actually, like,
putting a
putting
suit
something on,
or
yeah.
something.
Yeah, exactly.
Or like some CG.
so
That's crazy.
That was pretty funny.
So one of the first things I have written down in here because like
Yeah,
this
yeah, yeah.
movie starts, right off with these guys.
What are they looking for? I
What
forgot.
are they looking for?
They're
I've
looking
seen
for
this twice already.
moonshiners. They're looking
Is that
for
what that
moonshiners.
is?
Yes.
Okay, because they say a term. I forgot. I didn't know what that was.
Are they hunting
Spit?
moonshiners?
They're literally hunting moonshiners, which I literally put in here. I go, are these guys on a corporate retreat? Because there's a part where he goes, we'll talk about this back at the office. And it was like, it felt like they were on a corporate retreat.
Yeah.
Like, we're going to go kill moonshiners and get better as an office together.
That's true, because
it felt so weird.
When he said that, I was like, are they better at fighting back at the office? Because I feel like this is the time to fight when you're
terrible,
not at
they all had the
work.
exact same model of AK-47.
Yeah, like
Like a fucking and when they shoot it, it is a fucking fully automatic AK-47.
Really, and each of them have that, right? Like so,
each of them.
That's
have
so
it.
crazy. So that means
these
like,
are 100% illegal guns.
Like
you can't have these, especially in 1989. This is like when the fucking firearms ban was happening.
Yeah.
Hey, that moonshiner problem in 1989. It was quite
I didn't know
a problem.
I had no idea they were hunting moonshiners. I thought they were
didn't either.
hunting because, and then
Hold on, guys. I got to take a hit off this moonshine.
Oh, yeah.
There is
some-
moonshine here, actually, at the place.
be careful. There's some middle-aged men looking for you.
They're right
watch
outside
out.
the window.
They're right outside the window.
They have fully automatic AKs,
and they are not going to wait until the office.
I put on here like low grade predator team.
It is.
yeah.
I
They're all
legitimately
wearing bucket hats.
I thought the cold
I like
open.
that.
I thought the cold open was set in war or something. But I was like, man, what lame soldiers are these in their weird camouflage?
Cold open. This fucking thing takes like 18 minutes. It's so long compared to any fucking cold open that I've seen in this type of movie. At one point, I literally wrote like 27 minutes in, no plot.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, definitely. I actually had to watch this movie twice.
Oh really?
If it makes any sense.
I watched it
to
for
know
free.
What the fuck is going on?
It's free on Vudu. I hope you guys didn't pay for it.
No, I got
Yeah,
John's
I have a copy.
I
version
think
of
we
it.
talked about it.
Because for some reason, John owns this movie.
What a weirdo.
Actually,
what a
I
waste.
think it was really funny. Your wife Hannah was there, like at my house when I brought it home. She's like, "Are you watching that for the podcast?" I was like, "No, that's later." I was like, "I'm watching this for the podcast."
That's hilarious.
So yeah, it's a weird cold open, and we find out that the true why did the swamp thing? Oh, the swamp thing didn't kill them. It was that other
no,
thing.
it's another creature that's like
because the swamp thing helps that guy with his glasses.
Yeah,
it's here. I actually have a drawing of the creature. Where is it?
Oh my gosh,
he has a drawing of the creature, guys.
Well,
this guy.
So the
Yeah, it
so
actually
the
does look
basis of the movie is there's a lot of gene splicing going on, and there's a lot of creatures run rampant that are humans spliced with literally.
So I looked
Animals.
it up.
Spliced with animals.
This to us, it felt very Dr. Moreau.
Yeah, right.
Like Isle of Dr. Moreau.
Yeah.
Isle of Dr. Moreau came out in like 1886, like the book.
Right, yeah,
The
yeah.
movie came out like 7 years after this movie.
Wow.
Yeah.
So it's like this was like the first real movie to ever tackle the idea of gene splicing.
splicing with like other stuff.
That
And-
is insane.
And this is also new at the time, DNA and gene splicing. So
Right.
people believe this was
super
true.
fucking
Right.
new.
I think he made a joke like this was a documentary, and I bet at the time people were like, "Oh my god, we better rein back science because we're gonna have pig people or elephant people
Yeah,
in
like
the
coming up
next
to you.
5 years."
Those fucking shots of the fucking gene spliced animals were fucking next level, like horrible. You know,
There were kind of like there was some sort of unsettling
costumes.
They were like
and
they were horrible, but they were also unsettling at the same time. Like there was
a
like,
little bit.
'cause
I
some
don't
of them
know.
were, like,
Maybe I was a
squealing.
little bit too out of it to actually, appreciated it.
I guess so.
But-
Maybe you just visited a Halloween spirit store and you
Yeah.
were like,
No.
"Oh, I know these.
Oh yeah, there you go.
Oh, I saw this.
There you go.
I saw this in the
That's
store
exactly what
recently."
it was, because
Half and half.
There was some where it's just like, yeah, you're just like, that is a guy in a fucking mask. Like there is no fucking question.
There's a moment where she's getting while we're talking about some animals. There's a fish too that's like half out of the water and jumps at her.
Oh yeah, that's right.
What did
That
they
was-
splice the fish with? I thought it was all human
with
stuff.
more piranha fucking
Okay.
DNA. I don't know.
The reason all of
The-
this like splicing is going on is to bring because apparently the villain. We're watching this as a sequel, and I've never
Yes.
seen the first movie
Yeah.
either.
Nice.
So
wow,
like,
we are definitely not prepared.
The guy that is supposed to know this movie better than anyone has
You
not
picked
seen
this movie.
I did pick this movie because
the first film that it's based on.
I wanted to
everyone
watch, I wanted,
listen to this.
I wanted Godfather 2, and
I've
you
seen
said
clips and
no.
bad
We got to
of the
watch
first-
Return.
This,
of the
this
Swamp
is
Thing.
the
Swamp
this is
Thing.
the person you fucking hang your hat on, everyone. This is John. This is the guy that's supposed to know everything.
Yeah.
He doesn't know shit.
So what they're
Doesn't know
doing.
shit.
I did do some research on like this actual movie though. They're basically the guy who Louis Jordan, right? Whatever the fuck
I only know the DP's name. His name is Zoran. That's because I love his name. His name is Zoran.
The only Louis I know is CK, and we can't talk about it.
Okay, that's true.
That guy is canceled.
Yeah, he's canceled.
Louis CK has been canceled.
So I'm gonna refer to him as the character of Arcane.
Okay.
The bad dude of this one. He apparently died in the first movie. He was revived off screen between that movie.
What?
That's why they're doing the splicing, because he's trying to get eternal life, and they put him back together using the splicing.
So he was dead.
He was dead. He turned into a werewolf monster in the first movie and fought Swamp Thing.
Oh shit!
Oh.
That's actually pretty impressive.
So this is personal for Swamp Thing. I didn't know that.
Personal for Arcane, I guess, and then it gets personal for Swamp Thing. Yeah.
After Swamp Thing kills, or I don't know, fights Arcane.
He has a name. Okay.
Gets rid of. Yeah, I don't know. I don't remember his name.
Yeah,
I actually do write ST just down in my notes a bunch of times.
Oh, nice.
After he does the pan flute just play all the time? Just after he does something? Because the pan flute, oh my god,
the score of this movie. Yeah.
I wrote pan flute down probably 30 times in my notes.
It's probably
just like
the strongest part is during the sex scene of this movie.
Ooh, let's talk about that sex scene real quick.
Avatar, eat your heart out.
Before I finish,
I'm just gonna I'm gonna score.
Okay, here we go. Let me take my shirt off and hold John's hands.
Yeah, you gotta break a piece of whatever your shoulder.
Eat me.
That zit or whatever there. Yeah. Just I gotta eat it.
So was that imaginary? And is that the actor who played Swamp Thing in that sex scene, or was that just a strong? Man?
The Beauty and the Beast
that
scene.
Yeah. So. Funny enough,
I do have Beauty and the Beast scene written down.
That actor is not the actor who played Alec Holland in the first movie. It's not Ray Weiss, obviously.
No.
I think David, you would recognize if it was Leland Palmer. It's not him.
No, it wasn't him.
So he did all the acting and hard work, and some other guy got to do the sex scene?
Yeah, the stunt work, basically. It's pretty funny. Oh, no. It's the same guy. That guy actually plays the Swamp Thing guy. That guy's super buff. He's bigger than that.
So wait, that's the guy that does play the Swamp Thing character.
Yeah. Right, but he doesn't play the Alec Holland character.
He's really...
in the original movie.
Yeah, in the original movie.
Because that's Leland Palmer.
Yeah, so if you think about it... Yeah.
Sorry.
What?
Sorry, Leland Palmer's a character from Twin Peaks. That's how we can classify the actor here. I know we're kind of all over the place at the moment.
But that's insane. He honestly just does look like the prince from Beauty and the Beast in that moment. He's just look how hot of a white man I am.
And he's aggressive at hugging.
Did you see that? Yeah, the cinematography is just the way it's
yeah.
Why is Swamp Thing white? Why does he have to be a white man? Let me just say that right now. He should be a Native American. He should be a First Nations person.
You should reboot Swamp Thing.
Because that makes so much more sense, obviously, right? Yeah. Because you have
You're right. Alec Holland sounds like a Native American name.
Yeah, right.
I think they should. I think they should cast a real green person, because at this point, this is.
My name is Alec Holland. My real name is Walks with.
Swamp.
Shadow. Yes, walks with sticky water.
Oh boy, that's just mud. Let's talk about the new character. What's the name of the girl is she the main character of this movie? Swamp. What's her name?
Heather Locklear plays Abby Arcane, who Abby Arcane is a big supporting character from the Swamp Thing comics. She's very idealized in this movie as this botanist person who...
Wait, she's a botanist? I thought she just loved to talk to plants.
She's supposed to be smart.
Yeah, she's
supposed to be really smart, and she is not portrayed that way.
Yeah,
I thought she was just obsessed with
she's
plants.
She's portrayed like an idiot the entire time.
Definitely, which is
is so ridiculous.
It's kind of terrible. In watching it now, it's kind of weird, but it is. It's played up for laughs like crazy.
They try to make it up. They try to make it up at the very end, near the end, where the two hillbillies, the two moonshiners. Fucking try to rape her, literally rape her, and she fights him off, and she actually fights him off, or I don't know, she does whatever she needs to do, but she kicks them. She doesn't get raped.
Her signature move is just
that's the thing.
Swamp Thing, actually.
Yeah, we know. Yeah, does Swamp Thing does.
She was also just a couple of minutes removed from leaving the house to these moonshiners, so these guys were close by.
It was really weird, yeah.
And Swamp Thing's not a man. Really, technically.
Oh, he says that. I think he says that.
That's true.
He's by gender. He's got this whole
weird
pansexuality thing going on. on.
Yeah, he's a plant. What turns plants on? Nothing.
Yeah, that's true. Like what,
really,
The sun.
other plants. I guess so.
Photosynthesis.
You know, plants fuck whenever bees land on them, and
so like
the bee
Swamp Thing
lands
is
somewhere
just
else.
having, like,
Yeah.
a ball whenever-
That would be a hilarious like short film of just like a bee landing on a plant and then just like the plant's stem turning into a little dick and just like going into the bee and just like fucking the shit out of like a little bee.
And
you guys know what I'm talking about?
Yeah,
Why are you guys
sure.
looking at me like I'm fucking crazy right now?
I know. I'm aroused.
Yeah, plants should have dicks too. Yeah. Flowers.
Make plants dicks again.
Speaking of plants,
Make plants dicks again.
speaking of plants with dicks, her introduction is her talking to these plants that have name tags on.
They do. They're her friends. They're her friends.
And she's in Los Angeles, right? They make a big deal about her being
Oh
from
my God.
California.
Oh, from California. Yeah.
Where the
That's true.
plants have names, baby.
That's so funny. I literally. So, have you guys been watching the CBS Twilight Zone?
CBS Pharmacy?
The Twilight Zone's on CBS, the
Oh, no.
streaming
yeah.
services.
I've seen the first episode. That's about it.
We watched the free episode.
Yeah, that's what I've seen.
So we've watched, I don't know, like 3 episodes, and then we skipped a bunch of episodes, and we watched the last one. The last one's Chris O'Dowd.
Wow.
He talks like this. He's got a crazy Irish accent. He
Chris
talks
O'Dowd,
all the
he was
time.
in,
Yeah, I just
Thor: The
loved
Dark
it.
World.
I just got to talk like
think.
him every once in a while because I love his accent.
Mm-hmm.
But the whole episode is about this idea of like objects having spirits.
Oh.
And it's just like, is everything clicking into fucking like what's it called? Like I don't know, synchronicity?
Yeah.
Where everything I'm fucking learning about right now, it's just like these things have spirits. Because what's it called? What's her name? The girl that teaches you to clean shit. The Japanese
I know who you're
girl.
talking about. Yeah.
She also talks about that. She's like, you shouldn't.
She thinks the house.
She's like, you shouldn't. What's it called? Bundle your socks up because it stresses out your socks. And then your socks are all stressed out, and they don't want to be the best socks they can be.
That's true.
Shit, I'm like, that's insane.
Before you throw something away, she tells you to thank it before you throw it away.
Yeah, you think it, and it
Does
it
she make
bring
you think
joy?
though? Like does
Huh?
it make you think or anything?
I don't know.
But what it makes me think is that woman is a sociopath because I'm like, you think everything has
Yeah.
a fucking spirit, and you're okay with just being like, well, you're a piece of shit, spirit. I don't give a shit about
you
you
s-
anymore. Throw you away.
If you stub your toe, apologize to the table.
I feel like maybe she watched the Toy Story and just ran away with it. She was like, everything's
That's fucking
always
funny.
alive when you turn your back towards it.
Exactly.
So she's related. Heather Locklear is related
To Arcane, which is like the antagonist. So she's the stepdaughter of Anton Arcane. That's pretty much
Yeah.
it. Like in this incarnation,
and she's going through shit because I remember when she's talking to her favorite plants and she's like, he didn't even give us a funeral for our dead mom. I was
Oh,
like,
yeah,
damn, that's
yeah.
a lot to lay on your plants. They're gonna die soon if you
and
keep
so
telling them that
nonchalantly
shit.
too. Like just like,
Yeah.
can we talk about that scene in general? Heather Locklear is talking to no one.
Yeah.
Like there's
Yeah.
another actress in the shot, and she's played up for like comedic relief, like kind of
Watching
looking and
TV.
like not paying attention.
Yeah, and she's just like doing like a monologue.
Yeah, Heather
That's all
Locklear
it
is
is.
doing a one-woman show, really, like right here, and doing her audition for Melrose Place. I bet you,
Yeah.
like eventually.
She probably told them in the room. She was like, I'll do this if I can have a scene that I can use for my portfolio.
I wouldn't bet against that's what happened because that's pretty
Right?
crazy. Yeah,
I wrote in my my notes here to honestly ask you guys, is this movie supposed to be funny? I don't know. Like, is this? It's like
I
at
don't
some
know.
points I think it is, and then at other points it gets dark.
Well, here's my question: How
guess
else
so.
can you show that you love plants other than naming them and conversing with them? How else can you show that you love plants? And that's her thing. Like that's her
I'm not sure if
character.
this is a real answer.
That's her character.
Okay.
She loves plants, and
Making
she'll
a
do
defense.
anything for plants.
Okay, that's a good
And
answer, I
that's
guess.
why.
Okay.
that is totally why. You're totally valid.
Yeah, no, totally, yeah. Okay.
So you need to shut up about
no, okay. no, you're totally right. You're
This
totally right.
movie-
Okay. No, you're totally right. You're totally
She loves plants.
Okay, I get it. Okay. Sorry.
think
Is
this
that
movie-
the
No,
redeeming?
You're sorry.
Is that her redeeming quality? Is that she has this affinity towards plants? And like,
She's
no
a little
joke.
too frisky.
No,
to
it
plants.
definitely
Is that
is,
like
right?
her?
Yeah.
Because like I mean, I don't want to jump to the end, but the end definitely that's
That's
is
totally what it
revealed
is, yeah.
about it. Yeah, like
And she seems to like want to bang Swamp Thing immediately, like when she's like kind of like
I was
when she
thinking
meets him,
so your Swamp Thing, right? Like you're Alan Moore's Swamp Thing, who can create anything out of algae and stuff. It's like
he's like master of the green.
He's like, how big do I want to make this dick? How big do I make this dick? Like he's like,
the Alan Moore Swamp Thing is like existential. Like he's like he'd be trying to grow his dick, but thinking about like how like climate change is like killing the earth and stuff. That's literally Alan Moore Swamp Thing. Alan Moore Swamp Thing is like a very because the character of Swamp Thing itself is a person. It's not so much a person as like they just have a person's memories.
He would just grow a cucumber, like in the place of his.
I guess he could just point to different like a log maybe if a lady really wants it. Or maybe point down to
over there, I guess.
Yeah, or something.
It is, but beyond all that, it is so insane how sexual Swamp Thing is.
Yeah.
Oh, in this flick.
In this flick, but even in like DC lore,
in
like
general,
Swamp Thing is just in general like super sexual for
it's
some
super,
reason.
Yeah, it's very much on the provocative side. Like it sounds like a silly concept, and I think that's what these producers of these movies really thought. Like they're just like, oh, look, this is a plant creature. But the comics do get into some really like dark shit. Some of the stuff, the only like full Swamp Thing run that I've read is the Scott Snyder one. I've read a bit of the more comics because I actually do own them. I just never finished them. But the Snyder comics, Scott Snyder, not Zach. Scott Snyder wrote
release the Snyder cut.
Yeah, release the Snyder cut of Swamp Thing.
Triggered.
Release the Snyders.
Those have to do with Swamp Thing battling the Rot, which is basically like Swamp Thing is basically
the Swamp Thing battling the Dwayne the Rock Johnson.
I said the Rot, not like the Rock.
No. I heard
Dwayne
you
the
said.
Rot.
I heard you said
Dwayne the Rot. The Rot Johnson.
Rot.
Rot Johnson.
All plants' natural enemy.
It's Dwayne the Rot Johnson.
Oh no.
So
Johnston.
So Swamp Thing is basically like he controls. He's the like the leader of the green, like the nature. Like it's a cosmic force that controls all plant life on Earth.
Oh,
There's
boy.
something called the Rot, which is
Why does he control just the plant life upon Earth?
Yeah.
Why can't he control the plant life on other planets?
Because there's not a fucking Swamp Thing in another planet. Like.
So he has nothing really to do with a swamp. He's more of like plant thing.
Yeah.
So
plant
he
stuff.
is Earth.
Yeah, so he's basically
He's
Earth.
Gaia.
Like, he's
Mother
basically-
Gaia.
Yeah, it's fucking awesome.
There's something called the Rot, though. Like
I love that.
In this recent one with the horror comics, the Rot is basically like something like the Thing that like kind of just takes over dead bodies and assimilates them into like creatures.
That's
kind of crazy.
Is he always? Does he need water to survive?
No, he's immortal.
Oh,
No, he's 100% immortal. I do know that.
Yeah,
That,
like you
like-
can't kill him. You can damage his
because-
body, but he will always grow back.
Well, because they even do a thing in like, didn't they even do a thing in the comics where like he's blasted out into space, and they're like, "Well, this molecule survived."
Yeah.
like this one atom of him survived.
Wow.
And that atom hit a planet and just like,
Yeah,
and he
it started-
became
turned
dead.
it-
He
yeah.
became- yeah.
What's interesting
Threw
though is
himself
they
back.
in this movie, and I don't know if this all you're talking about is already established, but they don't go to other than him being like he can heal stuff and he's strong and he's well spoken.
They do not
He's
get
very
into
well-spoken.
his fucking
doesn't have
godlike
any-
abilities,
They do
not,
except for the moment when he brings Heather
Back
Locklear
from
back
the
to life.
dead.
Oh yeah, because he can revive the dead.
That's the
Yeah.
He can
only
revive the
one
dead.
where he literally is like, "I'm a god."
Yeah,
Boom.
and it's pretty crazy.
Otherwise,
he-
he just punches people.
He also
That's
travels
his-
through the pipes. Remember, because he makes that joke about I was piped in.
Oh yeah, fuck! I forgot about that.
totally
I didn't know
forgot
that
about
was.
too.
He was.
I didn't know that was an actual like callback to that fucking joke. God
That's
damn.
hilarious.
God, you guys don't understand. This is what I'm saying. This movie.
He just like was like, "Yeah, I got in here through the butt way, bros."
Well, Swamp Thing literally can turn into any vegetation, so he can like flatten himself down. It's pretty wild. Like anywhere that's grass, like he just like turns into it.
He is the most godlike character
almost
in
in
the
DC,
DC
yeah.
universe.
Yeah, it's pretty
right?
insane.
Like, because
Well-
DC is full of gods.
And is he bulletproof? Because I feel like in this movie he
Yeah.
got shot a ton.
No, yeah, he is.
Right?
Pretty
And-
bulletproof.
okay.
He got blown up in this movie, and then he
100%.
turned up
That's
in a
true.
sink.
Oh, gosh.
or in a faucet. Or
I
in
can't
a
wait to talk
bathtub.
about the scene where they peel out and when she says she loves guys
Oh,
that
yeah,
peel
I
out.
love it when guys peel out. I wrote that dialogue
Because you
down.
brought up explosions, and that is the craziest escape scene I've ever seen in a movie. Everyone's shooting at them, and everyone's bullets are grenades for some reason. Everything's exploding, and then the sequence is really long, and it seems like the drive is, an hour long from the house to the exit.
Well, yeah.
And I don't know if this is the first time she's used a shotgun, but she kills plenty of bad guys
this
on
is some
her
like
damn
Fast
own.
and the Furious shit going on right
Oh
here.
yeah,
Like,
the
yeah.
explosions!
crazy.
They shoot the statue, and the statue explodes, or they shoot
shit,
the
there's
grass,
that
and the grass explodes.
So many explosions.
There is this probably inspired Michael Bay to like some sort of extent because at that one point
what
I think it's inspired a lot.
I think when we meet the kids though, there's like a huge like fight scene with whatever like that fishy face scientist dude.
Yeah.
And like
fishy face.
Fishy face.
There's a bunch like for some reason it's a chain reaction. Like Swamp Thing tackles him into a car, and every car in the parking lot blows up.
That's what the joke I made earlier was. Is the kid is like, I hope he doesn't scratch my mom's new station wagon. Let's talk about those kids for a little bit.
Fuck those kids. Seriously.
Oh, the kids from the PSAs.
Oh yeah,
those kids were amazing.
They were fat shaming that kid for like an hour in this movie.
Why did you do that? Like, it's just the way the fucking they're so like.
It's just the wildest thing I've ever seen.
Idealized 80s kids. This feels like a fucking straight up trauma movie.
Yeah.
Oh no, I literally have that written in my notes. It feels like a trauma film.
Yeah, like definitely. It's all hammed up. The director Jim, what the fuck is his name is?
Jim
Weinrowski.
The fucking guy that's like the security, like head of security.
Yeah.
The guy who wears the beret.
Mm-hmm.
That guy is fucking like on like 10 out of 10. Like acting as hard as he fucking can the entire time. He's just like, "How you doing, sweetheart? Like, what's going on?"
Yeah.
Like, oh my god, and he's so fucking.
He acts like a really repressed virgin in the movie. I don't know if you get that vibe.
Like, doesn't he, at one point, like, doesn't he like try to make out with this chick, and then like he's. In very almost like in trauma fashion, he like someone interrupts.
Like didn't they punch him in the balls also?
Multiple times.
Hit in the balls
because he tries once to go after the stepdaughter, the main character.
Yeah.
And that's my favorite line where he takes his belt off of his jumpsuit, which doesn't do anything, and he says like I want to show you something or whatever. A surgery, or let's play surgery or something like that. And she says, my favorite surgery is a vasectomy. And she kicks him in the balls.
She kicks him in the balls.
Yeah, and she kicks him in the balls like 5 times afterwards. But you're talking about he tries multiple times with a lot of ladies.
With a lot of ladies. The main one that stands out is, we were talking about before we started recording, is this Jaws scar scene for some reason.
Which turns her on for some reason.
Yeah, it turns her on.
And it works.
Just so many scars, and like, the scars that she's showing him at the very beginning just look like really intense Indian rug burns. Like they're just like I rubbed you really hard. They're just like red marks
scratches,
on her arms
There's a small
something.
bite mark.
And then
should
she's
probably
like,
be gone already.
And then she goes like, and then this one is from fucking Bonnaroo or whatever the fuck. And she's like, and there's like a fucking bite mark on her fucking right next to her pussy.
You guys didn't like those jokes because the whole joke. Yeah, because the whole joke is.
No, I totally get
it. It starts off with like really serious stuff and then ends with just really fun.
It was Motley Crue.
Or Summer of Love. I got this scar from the Summer of Love.
You know why they had Motley Crue as a reference there? Because like Heather Locklear was married to Tommy Lee at the time.
I didn't know that. Wow.
Yeah.
John,
That's
really
hilarious.
you redeemed yourself from that earlier snafu.
Now this feels so much more like Kevin Smith just watched this movie and was like, I'm going to steal everything
Like
from this
jokes,
movie. I stole,
like
I'm
references.
stealing the Jaws moment for, what's it called? Chasing Amy. I'm stealing the opening moments for Mallrats. I'm stealing all this shit.
That's probably like I can see that.
I'm just gonna cast Ben Affleck, and he's just gonna be. I'll rewrite it, but he's gonna be the character from what's it called? Like the men's store from Mallrats, and that's
Shannon
Swamp
Hamilton.
Thing. Yeah,
that asshole from the Fashionable Mail.
Fashionable Mail.
Yeah.
Fashionable Mail.
What do you guys think about? Do you think it's worse in this movie to be one of those mutated animal people, or do you think it's worse in this movie just to be a woman?
Oh, that's a really good question.
That's a question.
That's a really good question.
Because it's kind of a crazy.
I would say it would be worse to be a mutated animal person because you just die in the end.
That's
because
true.
they just blow up the entire lab.
Oh shit!
Instead of being Heather Locklear, who is.
But you are, systematically raped every once in a while.
Heather Locklear in one day has almost been raped by bootleggers, was almost raped by the security guy,
thought she was going to be raped by Swamp Thing.
But consensually
but still had that that endorphin rush.
And also, there was no penetration really there going on.
Not at all.
Just some eating, I guess. That's
got to be an insane moment.
What a
in her
rough
life.
night for a character.
That's so crazy. This is a very I didn't know how much rapey is like played up for laughs in this movie. It's pretty funny.
It's like the ultimate.
I mean, it's not funny, but it's funny on a cosmic scale. There you go. Shit.
It's a much
I'm gonna get
wider.
myself in trouble there.
So I think back then the only way to really make you feel like a woman is in trouble is to make it, someone's going to rape you. And in nowadays, you can watch a movie and be like, oh, you can just fight them, or like there's a lot of other ways for us to portray like a heroine being in trouble, other than here's this strong dude who's going to rape you, so you better be scared now. Yeah, like, it's just a classic thing that they did back then to be like, they did that in like Chucky. I don't know if Child's Play. I was watching Child's Play recently, made in the 80s.
The original one.
The original one. She goes to like
a lot of 80s movies are like that.
Yeah, she goes to a hobo community. She starts asking this guy questions, and suddenly the guy wants to rape her. And I was like, whoa, what a jump! Instead of him just wanting to rob her or something.
It's no wonder that plot device wore itself out very quickly, because goddamn, that's kind of insane.
It is pretty insane.
What the fuck else was I going to say about that?
Rape is pretty insane. Anyways, guys, go to our Patreon. I'm just kidding. No, so what else?
There's
plenty of sequences in this movie we can talk about.
Stuff. I mean, there's a lot of stuff we can talk about. None of it is very memorable. I just have a lot of notes on just like little bits and pieces when we were talking about.
It's it draws that line of like, there's so much stuff we can make fun of, but at some point you're just like, what are we
even talking about?
What are we even talking about here?
That's
Because there's so many funny one-liners, so many weird situations.
That's why I watched this movie a second time, because I think I watched it the first time and I was like, what the fuck just happened? Like, I can't tell you. I turned to to a friend of mine who I was watching with, and I was just like, I don't know if I could tell you what just happened. Like, nothing stuck like at all. Yeah, it was really funny.
I didn't really care. To be honest, I didn't really care for anyone in this movie.
I didn't know, not at all.
A little bit.
I know Swamp Thing was the only one that actually was redeemable, but he was only redeemable because he was just like, I am Swamp Thing, and I am redeemable. Like, he would just say it.
How crazy is it that the fake monster we made is the most like believable, the most human character in this whole movie?
I mean, hey, the
most genuine character is the thing that we made up and covered with algae.
He's in the title. I like he gives a thumbs up too, like almost like
to those kids,
Dale Cooper style. It's fucking
funny.
When
those kids finally meet him and want to take a picture with him.
Oh yeah.
So they could make $10,000.
The kids just trying to take pictures. So Hannah brought up that like she was like, this kid is just doing was it a Little Rascals fucking impression of just being like, hey, what are we going with these? I got my little black friend.
I got a pickle.
I'm a redhead who has something to say about stuff.
They talk a lot about the kids. The only thing that stuck with me with the kids is they care so much about the possessions of their parents. Like, there's like, that's my dad's bowling ball. That's my dad's camera.
My dad's porn.
And I was like, geez, kids, your parents, all they care about is their things and not you. That's not a good life.
This was something I realized about it, was because they placed this movie in the year it was being filmed.
Yeah.
So you remember like when the kids like laid out all those magazines,
pornos,
and they were like, "This is 1988." The movie came out in 1989, and it was like these kids couldn't fathom the idea of, hey, say this movie is in a different era. And they were like, I don't know how to do that. They're like, oh, fuck it. It's in 1988, I guess. They're like, well, you can't fucking get these kids to understand that it might be in 1983.
So nowadays, speaking of kids and porn, so these kids are looking at porn, right?
I got excited for a second there.
Well, so I feel like, because they're not the only kids who are they're not the only people looking at porn in this movie. The scientists are looking at porn. Like, everyone's looking at these porn magazines everywhere. And do you think that nowadays it's the same amount of porn that we watch now, except it's on our phones?
Yeah, it's just minimized. It's just minimized.
Because it's crazy. I was like, man, the scientists are looking at it at their desks, and the kids are watching it under their couch. I was like, I mean, we know everyone looks at porn.
It's definitely the amount.
It's same amount?
No,
or more?
No, it's more amount nowadays.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because can you imagine having to like lug a magazine around, or hiding a magazine in your desk, hiding one in your pocket, under your couch?
I had like 3 VHSs until I was fucking like 17 years old. Like, there was like 3 VHS
the same
tapes
ones,
that I
like on
the same
rotation?
ones. The same ones that I had from like a friend who had given me that, like, my dad will never see that, like, he got rid of these.
Yeah. Meanwhile, the dad was like, "Where are those 3?"
Yeah, he was like, "Where's Euro Trip number 4?
Where are all my homemade videos?"
That'd be hilarious.
Trippy.
I'm like, oh, I love this guy's dick. I'm like,
Wait.
oh, I don't know why I love your dad's dick so much.
Wait, the camera's tilting up. I know this room.
Oh no!
Hey, Mr. Smith. Nice dick. Whoops. And that's a movie.
How did you know my best friend's last name?
Mr. Smith.
Smith.
Oh no. So what? How often do people get kidnapped and taken? So why does he need his stepdaughter's blood or
That I
DNA?
am not too
Okay.
like
Why is it her blood that they
apparently
need?
from what he explained
that plays into all the notes in my notes that say there's no discernible plot right now.
Okay,
like,
yeah.
it's really easy to miss.
It does not make sense.
Actually, it's. I mean, you pretty much. I mean, I had to look it up. Like,
Okay, you'll Google this.
So, like, apparently, like, he murdered Heather Locklear's like mother because she had like a special, like, a pure genetic, code that would make him. I don't know. That would make him immortal.
Who
basically.
looked just like Heather.
Yeah,
Locklear,
exactly. And so that for some reason, prompts Arcane to get his stepdaughter and actually try again. I guess get her like DNA to make him immortal. That's all I got from that.
Okay, because there's that weird ploy where they give her, I guess, a sharp ring that pricks her.
There's other
and they're
stuff
like,
that
yes, we've got a little blood.
I'm kind of like I can make sense of it, but it's not sense of it in this movie. I'm kind of because I told you I was doing a whole lot of like Swamp Thing research before we started recording.
Yeah. Yeah, you smell like fish.
The plot makes sense. If you take into the account of the comics and stuff. That being said, when you watch the movie itself, like we just did, like you don't really fucking.
Because I just feel like, wouldn't it make more sense for them to try to get the blood from Swamp Thing, because there's actually something special there.
Well, they do bring that up at the very end, right? Where they get the piece of
Oh
Swamp
yes,
Thing. But it's like also like we've talked about even before. It's like Swamp Thing isn't this one thing.
No, it's not. Yeah,
like
you're just gonna
everything.
You're just gonna get a plant sample. Like if you just grab that, like it's not.
That's true because she ate part of him, and it didn't do anything except for I guess have
make her hallucinate
when she sucked his dick.
Yeah, or plant version of that.
That was kind of like a sex scene reminiscent of like Demolition Man, which you can hear on the Films
or
podcast.
Avatar, like a PG-13 sex scene where it's not actual sex, so you can't tell us it's actual sex,
right? Yeah,
but we know it's sex. The adults know.
It's very sensual rubbing.
Yeah, very sensual rubbing.
Very sensual rubbing.
Is there any non-sensual rubbing that ever happens?
Yeah, I guess so.
If my hand touch any part of my body, I'm fucking
rubbing.
Sometimes I get itchy.
Oh, that's fucking hot. Oh, sweet release.
That actually does sound sensual.
Sweet relief from the itch.
I get itchy.
Oh my god!
Like if you're trying to, I don't know, if like you're rubbing an inanimate object for some reason, like it's not arousing.
Because we talked about the creature from the Black Lagoon early on, and the creature of the Black Lagoon is basically the touch of water. What was that movie called? Under the Water.
The Shape of Water.
Shape of Water. Yeah. Touch of Water.
Yeah. Do you think the people in The Shape of Water hated California? I hate California!
Fucking California bitches.
Do you remember that point?
Yeah. I remember that scene. Yeah, they were yelling at Michael Shannon, telling him that.
I hate California.
What do you think? So, do you think that's because the filmmakers couldn't get this made in California? That happens a lot? Because even the henchman tells her something about California. It's like, this isn't like California.
I don't know, because like
what's the big deal with California? Do the filmmakers hate it or something? Do they film this in Louisiana?
Well, Louisiana. Yeah, does Louisiana hate California? I'm not sure.
There was that war, that famous war between the two of them.
Between the Louisiana-California War? Mm-hmm, yeah, that's yeah.
What? Yeah.
Oh, I was gonna say, I just have written down. It was like that, like at that point, like it felt very like the Street Fighter movie because of all like the people that descended onto.
Yes.
What's it called? What's his name? Swamp Thing.
Yeah.
And it was like they all had like uniforms on.
Oh.
Those uniforms.
Oh yeah, they all have like they have the jump the
Dragon Ball Z uniform.
They're weird, like Dragon Ball Z like nude uniforms where it looked like they were
matching.
like nude every once in a while.
Yeah, it's kind of weird. Yeah.
That's my second favorite moment because my first favorite for them, for the army, is when we see all types of vehicles in Louisiana possible. ATVs.
Yes,
I
wrote that down. That's hilarious.
Speedboat.
That's a
on foot.
A search montage. They're searching for Swamp Thing, and all they're doing is doing slow-mos rows of ATVs and like boats and
Exactly.
shit.
If you watch it, some of the footage doesn't even match up. There's a
not
faraway
at all,
shot
yeah.
of a boat, and it doesn't even look like it's them on the boat. It's just a
this-
boat.
yeah.
And it's like, oh, they'll get it. There's a helicopter. There's a straight up helicopter.
Then there's even a shot where like they show the leading what's her name like into like their lair.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And there's like a Star Wars sliding door where it's like,
Oh,
and
yeah,
the door
yeah.
slides open, and then they do another like Star Wars like what's it called transition later, and it's like it feels very Star Wars all of a
Yeah.
sudden.
And with
Very
regard
50s sci-fi, like the
Yeah.
sets look like something out of the Batman
Totally.
60s series.
It's
cardboard
so
set.
ridiculous.
One of the craziest things with regards to like the army is it has that kind of last 2 seasons of Game of Thrones thing where at the beginning we see
Does
like
it?
2 or 3, and then suddenly we're like, damn, there's
Oh, there was more.
so many
Yeah.
army people. We talked
Off
about the
screen.
explosion
Yeah.
thing already, but there was this specific choice once where they had I don't know what the stepdad's name is.
Arcane.
Yeah, Arcane is walking down a hallway and he's like passing
Arcane
by all
Stark.
these other
Arcane Stark.
He's passing by all these other army people that you knew were extras. They're like, go in there, like keep
Yeah.
running back and forth to make it look like there's a
They're
million
grabbing the
people.
crew. They're just putting the fucking like,
Get in there, get in there.
jacket on, just throwing them in there.
And this guy has a secret army of 100 people in the bayou.
Yeah, and he was supposed to be dead, which is like fucking crazy.
To say, look at this like little
What does
comic
it
I
say?
wrote.
Yeah.
It's the beret guy, and he says, "Oh, you want to see something else?
Ooh, that's one of the other
What's
rape
that,
sequences.
baby?"
Oh, what's that, baby?
Like,
You drew his face in there
the
too.
fucking arcade. That beret guy was fucking
That's pretty awesome.
on
Yeah.
That's
point.
what I'm saying.
He
We're
was
impressed, dude.
amazing.
I'm gonna try to find that guy's fucking name.
that
Pull it
guy
and stall
was
for a little bit.
so good.
Let's
as
talk
an
about it.
actor.
He has an assistant, this lady who is.
Oh yeah, his like the one he wants to fuck, the one he
Yeah.
fucks eventually. Yeah.
But I feel like her role is weird, and I don't know why they included her.
She's kind of like henchman-like, and
She kills the
She
hunters
also
in the
is
beginning.
Supposed to be a little sexy, I think, at
Okay.
one point. Like, it's
yeah,
just
it's
the
kind of like
idea.
femme fatale-ish,
Yeah.
sort of. Like it's an attempt. It's
Well,
not
I
there.
just don't see what role she had that the guy couldn't fill, or what the guy had that she couldn't fill. Because anytime they talked to Arcane, they were together and just like interact, like saying each
No.
other's sentences.
Totally feel your exact.
And you're like,
same
they both
thing.
could have
Like,
been the same
they,
dude.
They do this so often in
Yeah.
these like movies.
That's
back
true.
then,
There could have
where
been
they
a
just,
third
like,
guy.
They build. There's like, oh, we have like 40 fucking characters. And it's just like, well, you could have had 12.
Yeah.
Like,
Holy
you
shit.
did not have to have this many people.
What's up, John?
So that guy who beret guy, which is David's favorite
Beret guy.
character in this movie,
Yeah.
Which I,
Um,
yeah.
his
Beret guy.
name is Joey Sagal.
Yeah. Seagal.
It's
Which I
it
actually
Seagal?
hope is actually
Related?
Seagal.
Yeah.
I want to. I
Seagal.
really
Uh-oh.
hope it is.
It's Sagal.
Because-
No, he's related to someone. He's related to Katie Sagal, who's from Futurama, and she plays Leela.
the voice.
It's his brother. It's her brother. My bad. Sorry.
Holy
Huh.
shit.
Yeah.
So
Small
that is
world.
That guy, yeah.
I think that actually is Seagal though.
No, then I guess it is. Yeah,
But
it's just
yeah, but
spelled
it's
like
still
Sagal
yeah, and
or
they're
something.
not related
Yeah.
at all to Steven.
Wow.
Oh,
to
not at all. Yeah.
Stefan.
What is there anyone now? Are you on the list? Did anyone end up doing anything super big after this, or was this a
Monique?
peak?
I mean, obviously, Heather Locklear went on to Melrose Place, which everybody
yeah.
watches in the '90s. I don't know if any of our demographic watched that show.
I honestly was like I can't remember the name I thought it was, but I was like I told Hannah I was like, yeah, it's I don't know, Janine Garofalo or something like that,
no.
and then she like was like. How do you spell that? And I went to the box and I was like, it's not that person at all.
Yeah,
It's Heather Locklear.
Yeah. You spell it Heat. No, Heather Locklear was probably big going into this. She was the selling point of the movie because she was on T.J. Hooker.
She looks
TJ
the
Hooker.
exact same as she has ever looked.
Oh yeah,
Like
that's
she's
good.
one of these girls that has always looked the same.
She's really
which
aged
is
well.
good and not good in my opinion, because when I think about sometimes I think about girls like that. I think about what's her name from what is it? Trouble in Little China.
Kim Cattrall.
Kim Cattrall. That movie, you see how fucking like insanely gorgeous she was as like a young person.
Okay.
And then you see like Sex in the City, and you're like, yeah, she's
Oh, yeah,
still like
Kim
good looking,
Cattrall, yeah.
but she was insanely gorgeous in fucking
So
like a Big Trouble in Little China.
yeah, I guess I can see that. Like sometimes
But Heather Locklear is
these
just one of
people
these people
don't-
that just always
Yeah.
look the same. She's always just looked good. She's just like been like this thing that's like she's always has looked like the same.
Like she's aged really well, and she hasn't had any work done. Like unlike everybody else.
Exactly. Like she's never looked young. She never looked old, but she's always just looked good.
Well, it's because she probably just left her face alone, as opposed to like everybody else.
It's
like,
probably true. But
not that there's nothing wrong with like doing a touch up, but like trying to be like a super neutral.
I mean, I touched my asshole a couple of years ago. Everyone just calm down about touch ups.
And I'm not judging that asshole touch.
That asshole touch.
That asshole tap.
Sometimes you just gotta get that asshole touch.
Touched up a little.
So yeah, Heather Locklear went on to do other things.
White as snow.
She, Dick Durock went on to play Swamp Thing in a 1990s live action series. Before dying,
shit!
A year into the production.
John,
good.
you listed two things: another sequel and dying.
And
Thank you for
the only other
telling
person
us
who has
that.
like clickable like
Jesus.
info. Wait, hold on.
Please tell us who else also died.
Please.
Oh shit! I didn't notice it. The girl who plays like the right hand assistant to Doctor
Die.
Doctor Arcane. No. To Doctor Arcane is Sarah Douglas, who played the Ursa in Superman 2. Like the villain. You guys fucking don't even know that. But y'all guys literally looked at the movie like, sure, John. Fuck.
Well, John,
I was really excited about that piece of trivia. Fuck y'all.
It sounds like nobody did anything except die after this movie.
That's exactly what it sounds
For
like.
Heather,
Ouch.
That's
except
exactly
for
what it
Heather
sounds like.
Locklear. Heather Locklear still.
I don't know.
She might not be dead. I don't know.
We're not 100% sure on that.
She's not dead, but let's not pull the threads on where she is now.
This is not coming out the day we're doing it, probably.
Oh,
so.
shit. We'll see. I will say this. If she dies on the day this episode comes out,
Oh my god, cool.
I will kind of be impressed.
Would you?
Like, it'd just be a cool thing to talk about at
I mean,
parties.
you have to like that has to be like if that happens, you have to like put that into the
I'll tweet
description.
her. I'll tweet her fam. I'll tweet it.
You gotta put in the description of this podcast, like, hey, we talked about Heather Locklear maybe dying, and she fucking died.
Yeah.
I think she might have
She
some...
fucking died, bro.
She might be having some mental health problems.
Oh,
so, like,
John.
fucking hell, like...
Way to bring it down.
Sorry, I didn't mean to make it real right there. You might be
What
able to
is
cut that out.
happening
Sorry.
now? Well, see now, John. Now we feel bad about this. Okay.
I was feeling bad. That's why I said it. Like, stop.
Shit,
You're
John.
kicking her when she's down.
This is your revenge for the child porn thing we made you go through.
Yes. Goddamn. We
Shit.
can't cut it out. Fuck. That sucks. I did not. Yeah. That part
let's
was terrible.
Bring it back to something happier, which is this movie.
John looks like
Definitely,
child
yeah.
porn.
Actually, so let's bring it back to the director. This director apparently is prolific as fuck. I don't look at child porn. You're an asshole.
John, don't deny it. Okay, just say you don't have any comment.
This
Exactly.
And also, you don't even know what the definition of child is.
But he definitely looks at child porn.
God damn it. That's hilarious. I mean, not that I look
That's
like
hilarious.
child porn. God damn it. Fuck.
You keep digging a hole, John.
That's hilarious.
Much like the Swamp Thing. So the director, Jim Wynorski, has actually made over 75 movies. Ain't that fucking crazy?
That is pretty crazy.
Is it quantity or quality, John? Come on.
It's
really
quantity,
true,
definitely.
right?
Name some of these movies.
Oh, I actually can. Cleavage Field,
Oh, what the fuck?
The Bear Wench Project, Paranokker's Activity.
I could see a common thread here.
Oh, yeah, he's done some like softcore.
These are porno. Okay.
So, well, that's I just said exploitation and B movies.
John,
Can you just stop talking about porn, John? Stop bringing it to
John.
porn.
Oh, shit. I
God,
didn't notice
John.
Is that just my theme
Jesus
here?
Christ, man.
You keep bringing it up. You keep talking about it. You keep showing
oh my
it to us.
God.
Stop sending us pictures of yourself.
It's like everything that you want to talk about is just porn.
God damn it. All right, I'm going
All you want to talk about is porn nowadays.
I'm going to retreat into this moonshine.
We're talking about cinema, okay? And you keep talking
Yes.
about this disgusting, the worst of it.
fucking I can't even think of a fucking cinema movie.
Schindler's List.
Fucking
Cinema
Schindler's
movie.
List. Fucking
There's a poster right there.
Fucking Citizen Kane. Fucking
Jaws.
Jaws.
All Spielberg.
Fucking
Anything Spielberg
Delphin
has
Pod.
done.
All these amazing cinema movies.
Hey, bring it back
Fun
down
fact,
to
Wynorski-
porn.
Kurosawa.
Wynorski's made more movies than all those fucking directors.
Combined,
Yeah.
probably, right?
God.
Possibly.
Well, I mean, I don't know what else you want to say about this movie, John.
I don't know.
Or
Like, what, you got some
David,
more
you
notes there, David?
Yeah.
You got like 2 more pages worth of notes there.
I do have a lot of more pages.
There's plenty of sequences we could laugh at, but
There are. Actually, 2 of the things I have circled in here is just like the little kids. They're like how they have been doing in their later lives.
Oh yeah, look him up, John. Look him up.
The redhead kid, his name's Daniel E. Taylor. He's 39 years old now.
Oh, maybe. Okay.
And he does just indie horror now. Like, that's his whole
Nice.
thing. He just does indie horror films.
Probably started here.
And then we have
Probably thought it
the
was a
little
horror movie.
black kid. His name's Ron Rico Lee. And
the other
he
little
he doesn't do shit anymore. Like, he just stopped acting after a while.
He probably saw this movie.
He was like, I'm just gonna.
I don't
do
have
some
it.
engineering job.
Do you
or
think it
something.
was a direction for this whole movie? Because I don't want to say just the kids do it, but everyone does it. But to almost overplay their roles, except the Swamp Thing never got that memo. Because everyone's, very dramatic, and then Swamp Thing is like
That's
just
so true.
speaking it real. But do you think it was intentional? Or were they like, you're here in this moment,
It
you're like,
just
you're like
feels
really
so
upset right
weird.
now?
I have no clue because I was thinking that. I mean, because
It
there's
feels so weird how Swamp Thing is directed.
Yeah.
right.
Because the trauma stuff, it's intentional. They're
Yeah,
like, make
right,
it
yeah,
melodramatic.
I mean,
make it
I have
exaggerated.
literally written in my notes, like, is this supposed to be
Yeah.
a trauma
Trauma
film?
E,
Because the Swamp Thing is just so genuine.
And you're
He's
like,
just
whoa.
so like, hey guys,
He's trying.
I do this thing.
I think
I'm a good person.
In a
Like, it
normal-
just feels so fucking out of left field.
yeah. Everybody else is like hamming it up. Like they
Yeah.
all know this
Everyone
is like
else
a, yeah.
is hamming
the
it
bad
up.
guy has an accent.
That's it.
Oh,
And that's what makes him a bad guy.
We didn't even get to this part. This weird body switching aspect to it.
Yeah,
Where
so-
it doesn't even end up being body switching.
Yeah.
Like, that is like the weirdest part ever. Like, they did this whole bit
Yeah.
where
at the
they're
very
like,
end? Yeah.
where they're like, look at this like science fiction shit we're doing.
Yeah, we
and
see
they're
it.
like, look at the spirit moving
traveling.
from a young hot girl into this
To an
old
old man.
That's like a half the budget right there.
And it's just like, oh, that's
I have
just
war-
nothing.
I have warts on
don't
my
worry,
hands.
Don't worry about that.
That's
No,
true because
nothing.
partially I thought they just needed her blood and they got it. And they're
Yeah.
like, no, we need her whole
Yeah, we need her
being.
spirit. We need her fucking soul or
Did-
something.
and-
Apparently.
And then they get it. That's the part that I
yeah,
don't.
they
literally get it. And then, but it doesn't matter at all
Yeah.
because Swamp Thing is still so powerful.
yeah, and he just blows the
He
house
just
down.
resurrect. He blows the house down, but then he just resurrects her again.
Heather Locklear, yeah. As,
He
as
just
a-
like
as
boom,
a-
you're back together.
Yeah.
And now you're new Swamp Thing.
yeah, you're like a female.
You're
Swamp
Lady
Thing.
Swamp
yeah,
Thing
yeah,
now.
Lady Swamp Thing, yeah, because she's got flour growing out of her feet.
Which
It's fucking
I was
hot.
thinking of. Have you guys ever seen The Fountain? The
Yeah.
Darren
Aronofsky
movie?
film. Yeah, The Fountain. There's that There's that part in it. It's like 3 separate films. There's that part in it where what's his name? Hugh Jackman finds the Fountain of Youth, and he starts drinking from it. And then the plants start like breaking out from his like legs and arms, and he starts like screaming in pain. He's like, "Oh God, it hurts me so much!" And these like plants are like killing him as they like break out of his skin. I was like, "That's what Heather Locklear
That's what-
should be
yeah,
going through
that's
right
what-
now." Like
yeah.
that made me. I was like,
That
that'd
would be an Alan Moore
hilarious.
comic.
That would be hilarious if all of a sudden she was
Yeah.
just like, "Oh my God, it hurts so much."
Something had no
That'd be
idea that he was just killing her through his love.
I can imagine him just standing there and being like, it's gonna pass. It'll pass.
Yeah.
It'll pass. It'll pass."
What does the Swamp Thing do when there's nothing to punch or anything? Does he just live in the swamp, or is he like a Godzilla type thing where
I
just
do
comes out when he needs to? Or,
I do
or
love
really?
how the only way that Swamp Thing can solve problems is by just punching the
He
shit
really
out of
does, yeah.
people.
Yeah.
Like
he uses that bat once.
like we've talked about, like in the Alan Moore idea of it.
Yeah,
he
he
can
can,
do
like-
all these other things.
Yeah, he can be like, he's almost like Green Lantern. Like his plant
Yeah.
can turn into an axe or
Yeah.
something, or just like
But in this movie,
yeah, he just
that's
punches
not
stuff. And needs
the
a bat.
idea. Yeah, he just fucking just punches people in the face.
Well, let's talk about the future of Swamp Thing.
Yeah,
Because there's a future to this thing, right?
Oh
Like,
my
there's
God.
something-
I did not even realize this was a thing until today.
Yeah.
Oh,
that
this is.
they are making a fucking.
I think this is why the
darker Swamp Thing.
Oh my
well, it's a more
God.
very very actually you kind of scoff at the idea, but the thing is like when you watch it, it's actually not bad.
I literally wrote in my notes. I said, "Why haven't we decided the idea to reboot Swamp Thing yet?"
Yeah, and then you find
And
out
then
after you
I
stop
looked into it, and I was like, "They're doing it already. Like they literally have done it. Like literally today.
Is it a show or is it
It's a show.
It's a TV show.
It premieres
and
next
literally-
week. Premieres next week.
Didn't they premiere the first episode today? Like on
Early reviews are out, but it's not out until the 31st.
I you know what? I think I'm gonna blow your mind.
Is
I
it
think
out?
today they put out the first one on YouTube.
On YouTube?
Something like that. Yeah.
Why didn't we talk about that
Because
movie?
I just saw that, like, I was like, oh, what the fucking shit? Like, this fucking Swamp Thing thing is like a thing? And then I realized, I was like, well, that's why you guys are doing it.
Yeah, there you go.
Y'all are
You just-
about to do it.
You just called me out on it. I
That
was
makes a
like-
lot of sense why y'all are doing this.
And the reviews are really fantastic. You're
Yeah,
right. Like people love it.
DC. It's
a
like
lot-
DC's
much better.
best show.
It looks really good.
Yeah.
It's
it looks really good.
It's an adaptation of the horror aspects of Swamp Thing, and it's kind of done right. The characters that we saw in this movie are coming back for that show. They're obviously like reinterpreted, but like Abby Arcane is now a CDC agent who is investigating a virus that's running rampant in the swamp.
Because it's set in now.
Yeah. And so basically, it's going to match up. I feel like to the I don't know what direction they're going in, but obviously they're going in a horror direction because they show the rot picking apart like dead bodies and stuff. And so that's going to be really cool. And then they have like this very cool little money shot of the Swamp Thing at the very end coming out of the swamp.
Yeah,
and
I saw that little trailer thing.
It's a practical suit
Yeah.
with like CG overlaid over it, so it looks pretty cool.
It's a pretty cool concept, and you're right. It's been a while, and it's kind of weird because DC has been really active in trying to find a lot of their IP and
Right.
trying to
And
release
trying to do it
it.
right. Yeah, I
Is
guess
this
so.
on like a channel or
This
is
is
it
on the DC Universe service, so you do have to like kind of
it's
sign
gonna
up
be
for that.
their own streaming service.
How much
Yeah.
is it?
It's like $7-8 a month, I think.
Something like that. But
It's a shit ton of money.
I have
it's-
it actually.
it-
I watched Doom Patrol on it. Doom Patrol's
Oh,
like
give us your
Is
login.
that-
pretty
Yeah.
damn
Why don't
great.
you
What's
give
your
us
login?
right now? Write it down.
I will. Here.
Listeners,
That's it. It's
probably something- Porn
It's
Lovers
a-
69 or
it's
something.
H.
Or just
Right, that's what it was.
That's exactly what it is. I gasped and then wrote it down. Like I just said it instead of
exactly.
that.
Well, that's exciting, and it seems like this movie.
I think
Did
it'll
this
be
do
out-
well? This movie we just talked about right now,
No,
Return of Swamp
it
Thing.
did not do well. I would. This movie had a whole lot more camp than the first movie did. The first movie, while campy, wasn't to this level. Like this level is like literally like I'm trying to think of like a very like this is Son of the Mask to Swamp Thing's The Mask. So it's like it's very like hammed up, turned up to 11. It's just it didn't do well. After that, they had a couple of more spin-offs, but Swamp Thing's popularity started kind of going down
Because he was a joker probably at this point, right?
Well, at this point, because of this movie, yeah, but also Alan Moore had moved off of the comics already. Like Alan Moore wrote him in the early '80s and introduced characters like I think John Constantine was introduced in Swamp Thing as a supporting character.
What?
And then came off. Yeah, I'm not even playing.
Yeah, no, I think he's actually
Alan Moore
right.
was
I think that John might be correct about his comic book lore. Maybe, I don't know. John is the most prolific comic book lore person I know, but
keeper of
he
comic
might
book
be
lore.
right. I don't know.
And then coming up recently, with the New 52, Scott Snyder rebooted Swamp Thing and made him more of a horror-esque and combined both the horror stories from the original run with the mythological stories with Alan Moore. So, and then he incorporated the entire DC universe too, which was kind of weird because normally you didn't get that in those comics at the time because you really didn't know how to mesh, a character like Swamp Thing with like Batman or something. And now they do, which is kind of like crazy because Swamp Thing is a member of the Justice League Dark, which, is members like, Etrigan the Demon, John Constantine, Zatanna, the Spectre, all those like very
Scary.
supernatural characters.
Spooky.
And so, yeah, I'm excited. I think by the time this podcast airs, that first episode
For
of
sure
Swamp
will
Thing
be
will probably
out.
be out.
Yeah,
so
yeah,
it's pretty cool.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Do you got something in your hand there?
don't watch
David?
this. Watch something else. Right?
I do have something in my hand.
You can watch Swamp Thing, the first Swamp Thing, if you want.
Oh, you should definitely watch the first
Yeah,
Swamp
it's
Thing.
probably better than the one we just watched.
My wife Hannah was like talking about how she was like, I swear I've seen this movie. And then she was watching the one we watched, and she was like, "No, I definitely watched the first one. This one's garbage."
I would remember this movie, I feel.
Exactly.
Any final thoughts on Swamp Thing before we do a thing?
Final things on Return of Swamp Thing? No, actually, this is a terrible movie. Actually, it's not. It's just
movies are bad.
This is pretty bad. It's like I think when I gave David the DVD to watch, I was like, you're either going to have a blast or no fun at all. And I think in talking about it, I feel like maybe, we had more fun talking about it than actually watching it, maybe. I don't know about David. David kind of
you're probably
went
right.
Yeah, I was like,
definitely
went crazy with those notes.
This movie was just like, it felt like a slog a couple of times, just like trying to watch it.
Yeah.
It was like, is this still going on?
Yeah, and
then it was like, this movie's only 88 minutes long.
Oh no! I didn't
and
know
you're
that.
just kind of
like, oh my god.
Yeah, it drags, which is so weird.
It drags.
The plot is nonsensical. You kind of don't know what the fuck is actually going on.
Yeah.
Like if you take your eyes away, even if you are watching, like you're just like, I don't know what the hell's going on.
Exactly.
So it's kind of weird. Final things on Returns of Swamp Thing. Don't watch this. Go read some Swamp Thing instead.
Or watch that thing we just talked about, the really good Swamp Thing that's coming out.
Oh yeah, watch the new show. Yeah, watch that.
the new
That's
show.
probably gonna be better.
Yeah,
Watch
definitely.
the new show. Read the old comics.
Read the old comics and watch the new show.
Yeah, I'm just not sure if this was all intentional from this movie because that I don't know.
I mean, the actor Dick Durock, excuse me. Dick Durock said said that Return of Swamp Thing to him was kind of sucky because he said like they tried to go comedy and he said like he didn't like that.
Oh, I didn't know that.
That's what
So it was intentional.
he tried to play it. That's why I think he tried to play it straight. I don't know why I didn't bring that up when y'all were talking about it. Durock.
Dick Durock.
Yeah.
Dick Durock.
Hey baby, my dick Durock.
Durock.
Baby. Well, I mean, I think it's an interesting movie to watch. I don't know.
It looks like you had a lot of fun, Delphin.
Yeah,
I watched it in like 4
ideas
sittings because I kept
around
turning it off and on, and I was like, ugh, let's get
got
it.
this good podcast out of it. That'd be pretty cool.
Yeah,
way more
but was it
enjoyable than-
worth it, John? Was it worth this movie?
Yes.
We could have watched The Passion
Only because I
of the
didn't pay
Christ.
for it. Like I didn't pay for this movie, so
That's true.
Oh. I mean, that's not to say, God damn it, I don't know why I'm fucking revealing shit about
He
how this
totally
movie-
did pay for this movie because he gave me the movie on
Yes,
DVD.
I have a copy. You're right. You're
So
totally
you
right.
paid for this movie.
Thank you for
You paid more than me.
You
I watched
fucking
it.
piece of shit.
If you want to watch it, go to Vudu, VUDU. It's free there.
No, I would just honestly recommend just hitting up John, and he'll give you this for free.
Oh, yeah.
And I wish I had I wish I had actually looked at the special features a lot more. There's a lot of fucking crazy special features that
What?
this one had in it. Yeah, it
You
was
need
like
commentary. You got to listen to the
it
commentary.
had commentary.
Oh my
It
God.
had all of the PSAs. It had all this shit that was so stupid.
John, why didn't you listen to the commentary?
I had to
Yeah,
give
what
it
the fuck,
away
man?
to watch.
We could have
fuck, dude.
You could have answered all of our questions this
What
whole
the
time.
Oh, definitely.
Fuck.
We didn't have to like speculate here.
Jesus fucking Christ, John.
Shit.
God damn it.
Anyway, so I have a little segment that I've been wanting to introduce. Whenever I hang out with John, John's one of my favorite people. John's one of my best friends.
Likewise.
I met him in college.
Even though he's a porn addict.
Yeah, exactly. He's a horrible person, but I do like him. And I found this book called "Jokes for the John." So I was like,
wow.
That's you're the John.
Yeah, you
are the John.
You honor me by showing me a book full of toilet jokes.
This book was written in 1961. They're some of the most horribly misogynistic jokes. I've
A great
read.
year, in my opinion.
Never read. I'll just read a couple right now.
Did you just
to
say
kind
that
of
right
like,
after that, like misogynistic things?
Yeah.
Funny.
Absolutely. So it says, ethics are... Oh, no, here we go. I got to read it in like someone's voice. Ethics are vital to the successful businessman. A successful businessman told his young son. For example, an old customer paid his account today with a $100 bill. As he was leaving the shop, I discovered that he had given me 200s stuck together. Immediately, A question of ethics arose. Should I tell my partner? That's a joke from this book.
Wait,
Everyone,
what?
you should realize that's a joke from 1961.
Explain that.
These
joke
are
real quick.
horrible fucking jokes. I don't understand these jokes ever. These are horrible jokes. They don't make any sense to me.
That's pretty
Here's
awful.
one. Here's one. I'll show you. It's a picture. I'll show you Delphin.
Oh,
Lord.
God.
Here's a picture of a girl
I don't know if you
and
should-
an old maid and a man. And the picture, the caption says, "The guests are starting a game of charades. Better hurry or you'll miss the fun."
You know who'd like that? John. John likes this kind
No,
of
that's
stuff.
not actually like I'm not.
John,
Don,
you like that picture?
I feel like I'm not Don Draper. This is a book right out of Mad Men.
This is a book right out of Mad Men.
Yeah.
This is
These
so
are some of the
insane.
most insane things ever. But honestly, John loves these because these are books for the John.
Yeah,
and
right
he
up.
is the John. He is
They're
the John.
right
That's
up his
totally
alley.
true. That's what my friends call me, the John.
These
A husband, upon meeting an ex, after 2 years of separation. Listen, honey, why don't we have a few drinks and dinner and go to my apartment and really make love? The ex, over my dead body. Husband, you haven't changed a bit.
I like that one, actually. That's
Come
funny.
on.
That one's
You got a genuine smile out of Delphin there.
That was
It's
kind of
pretty
funny.
Delphin actually definitely smiled.
Wasn't that funny, though? It's
It
kinda
was
funny.
pretty good, actually.
Here we go. Two models.
These are getting better.
Two models were discussing a mutual friend. Gosh, said one. Can that guy dress? Yeah, answered the other one. And quickly, too.
Oh.
She's
Because
a little,
they fucked the model.
a little floozy.
These
God
are...
damn.
Yeah, okay. So, yeah, these are jokes for
For the John.
The John.
Am I going to expect this every time we are guest hosts?
every single time that
Me and David are paired up together?
Yeah,
somehow?
I'm gonna bring these out.
And this actually makes sense because these are right up John's alley. He chose this movie, and
Goddamn.
this movie is really similar to these jokes, actually.
Yeah.
They're just as misogynistic.
Oh, God.
Definition of voluptuous: a woman who has curves in places where girls don't have places. That doesn't make any
Ooh.
sense. That
Wait, I
doesn't
don't know.
make
Yeah,
any sense.
that was my shock. It was like a weird outrage. Like I was like,
But now you're thinking
do you
about
guys
it.
know? Yeah, I was like,
a-
I was waiting for y'all's outrage, and y'all were like, I'm confused.
Like a big toe?
It's so
I
weird.
don't know.
But yeah,
Pretty funny.
And
Are they all just like
my favorite thing about this book? Honestly, is that it's clearly supposed to be like
On a
kept on the
toilet.
handle of a toilet.
disgusting.
Like
It's
So-
kind of. Is it heavy? It'll probably flush it.
David,
It's
how
kinda
many
crazy.
people, how many human beings do you think have been around this book as they've been pooping?
probably a good I don't know, couple of dozen.
That's insane.
It's crazy. You
Yeah,
gotta wash
that's
your
really
hands.
cool. That's why I like buying old books. I like thinking about, them being on the toilet.
Yeah,
Here you go,
exactly.
Fran.
Bathroom material.
How do you feel after going out with a fellow who has no sense of humor? Martha, wonderful. I never knew you could have lots of fun without laughing. What does that even mean?
I get it,
These
sort
jokes
of,
have
maybe.
no context.
I used to put Far Side books at who was it, Ray Bradbury? Was he the guy who made these Far Side books? And they're like one panel and they're really funny.
Farscape?
What?
No, I'm just playing.
The Far Side. And whenever people would be pooping there, I would hear them chuckle to themselves in between shits. So you hear like a and then a like a oh jeez, and
That's
then
what it is.
and then because they're like really silly jokes. It'd be like it would have like a old lady who'd be like, "Ben, get in here with the fly swatter," and it would be like a ginormous fly,
Yeah,
and
giant
like
fly swatter, yeah.
and it'd be so funny. Anyways, speaking of shit, let's talk about things we have to plug. What do you guys have to plug?
You caught me off guard real quick. Listen to all your Delphin Pod podcasts here. I'm not too sure how many are. Actually, all of them are going strong, right? I'm assuming.
For
God,
a
I should
week,
probably listen to our own fucking material. This is
John.
just-
There's 4 new shows a week.
there is 4 new shows a week.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
There you go. I was hoping Delphin would like help me out with a plug. That's why.
Yeah, I'm counting them in my head, but now I'm just realizing my life is passing me by as I sit behind this microphone.
This microphone, like
and
day after
talk
day after
for
day.
literal hours at a time.
I totally thought of like another countdown to episode show that I was gonna pitch to you guys, and completely forgot about it.
Oh, because we will totally buy it
I was
right
like,
now.
countdown to something.
That's going to be your show. Are you just pitching us your show? Like
We buy countdown shows in the room. We don't even say we'll think about it. We're like
anything that's a countdown.
Definitely already typing up an outline right now. Just like
let's see. We'll end with one, and we'll I don't know 2 right before that one.
Maybe 4 or 5 seasons. Maybe hold on. Yeah.
Let's see what downloads. We'll do 250,000 downloads at time.
Listen to all your Duff and Pod shows. Revenge of the Sequel is back up. Obviously, you're listening to it right now.
Hell yeah, motherfuckers!
Yeah, definitely. I'm all about this shit. Countdown to Infinity is
it'll be around up until Far From Home for
it'll
sure.
Be around for a while. Yeah, and we're not going away. We're just no, I don't want to say anything. It'll be around. There you go. Shit.
I'll just say Revenge of the Sequel is probably like it's my favorite podcast. Like
thank you.
Of
That's
a
awesome.
Delphin Pod. Like I love this podcast. Like Revenge of the Sequel is the fucking funniest.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Like ever.
Take note, Marvelites.
It's so great.
All right, listen to all your Sticker Fridge podcasts as well. Director Showdown this last season just ended. It was pretty awesome. Nolan versus Fincher. I was on the Prestige episode.
What a braggart.
It was pretty awesome. I guess David was on an episode too, but he'll get to that whenever he gets his plugs.
Which is right.
Well, no, hold on. I just wanted to plug the crossover. If you haven't listened to the fucking crossover, speaking of Director Showdown, yeah, you drink some of that.
Stop holding this moonshine. Like
I know.
baby.
I didn't even sip it. Listen to the Revenge of the Director Sequel Down crossovers. You have Brent and Adam on ROTS. Doing Paul Blart 2, which is, I know that sounds like you should turn it off immediately because of the movie, but it's actually really funny. You guys should listen to it. It's awesome. Those guys are great. They let us take over Director Showdown, which we did Tim Burton and Paul Feig. We did A Simple Favor and Ed Wood, and we had a lot of fun with that. Go check those out. They're pretty awesome. And leave us some feedback on both podcasts, if you will.
Jesus. John, that was like a whole episode of another show.
I felt the awkwardness.
Holy shit.
Growing. Well, all right.
Dude.
You guys suck.
Dude.
Go, your turn, David.
So, yeah, I did a recent episode of Director Showdown. Yeah, you can listen to that. You might hear, I don't know, you might hear eventually a reboot of Fam Films.
Oh yeah, how is that going? I'm gonna ambush.
I'm
you
just gonna release the episodes I've already recorded
because I was on that too.
Yeah, with you and some other people. I have one with Sean and Brian and stuff.
We do a sequel on that show.
I'm just gonna fucking do one. Yeah, we could have it. We could even just give it to you guys. You can put it up. Honestly,
as long as the word countdown is anywhere near it, then I'll be interested.
Countdown to Fam.
I know. As long as there's some kind of finale where it does
where
really
numbers
well.
are counting down.
It's insane.
Man. I feel like the one I thought of was like it was like a David Fincher movie where like they were like about to they're like, we're gonna make this movie. And I was like, y'all guys should do a countdown to this new David Fincher movie.
We'll watch every David Fincher movie.
Hilarious. Yeah, that'd be pretty cool. I would have fucking fun with that. Don't joke.
No, I'm totally
That'd be awesome.
With that.
Oh yeah, me too.
That'd
Me
be
too.
super
yeah,
fun.
yeah.
Hell yeah.
Every frame of painting.
But yeah. Anyway, yeah. I mean, Director Showdown. Besides that,
previous.
Also, try to find the
Fish Tank.
The Fish Tank podcast on
Anywhere.
iTunes. It's on iTunes.
It's on iTunes.
It starts like on episode I think 11 or like 10 or something like that.
Yeah.
Like it starts weirdly in the middle of it, but it is surprisingly funny.
You should, yeah, it totally is. It actually
is surprisingly funny.
It was one of the inspirations that I got for wanting to podcast because you guys did it like a couple of years before we did our RTS stuff.
Yeah.
That being said, the episodes are very, very long.
Some of them are like 3 hours long.
Yeah, you guys should.
Yeah,
you guys should
we
totally.
Fucking, we recorded way too long.
No, that's not a bad thing. I was just like,
we were bad people.
Stick back
we
and
hated the audience when we were fucking.
Sit back and listen
to
these things if you have like some free time. It's pretty funny.
Yeah, if you like ROTS or if you like Director Showdown, then you might like the original Sticker.
I think you'll definitely like it. Yeah,
because it was Brent and John and all these people that were originally
the prototype podcast.
Basically, yeah. And I would love to see like some, because I still do see the numbers for those episodes.
Really?
I would love to see like those just all of a sudden just be
go
like,
up.
that's crazy.
Spike
Like
up.
these like old like they're like 5 years old. Like these episodes.
Yeah.
They're probably more than that.
Yeah, they're probably like 7 years old now.
Yeah.
These episodes just like spike. That'd be amazing.
Check out the Fish Tank podcast.
Look
The
'em up.
old bump.
They're so old.
That's pretty much everything. Go to patreon.com/DelphinPod if you want episodes before they
yes,
come
do that.
out or exclusive eps like a game we're about to play.
yeah.
Other than that, yeah, I think we'll be good. More countdown stuff. Oh, yeah, and all of the shows, all of the new seasons and new shows will come out on Patreon before everywhere else. And the newest podcast we have coming out is in October. And if you like space and battles, you might like it.
Oh shit! You're announcing it. Don't announce it. Just tease it.
That's what I just
Tease
did.
it. Okay, cool.
Bye.
Later, guys. Go watch Swamp Thing.
Pause this and then tell me what's
Oh, thanks,
happening.
David. Thanks for
yes,
being
thank you.
on, David. Thanks. You're awesome.
Yeah.